Hello, I would like to welcome you to our Mozart and Prokofiev concert. To begin with, we have on the program three delightful, sparkling Salzburg symphonies by Mozart. These works are also called divertimenti. We're not sure, as Mozart didn't call them divertimenti, and in his time, all these terms like cassation, serenade, notturno, divertimento, they weren't used as strictly as we do today. They all basically serve to mean a work of entertainment, just musical diversion, some pleasant musical diversion during a court event. These three divertimentos, or Salzburg symphonies, were written when Mozart was still a teenager, about 16 or 17 years old. To me, these works are an early indication of how Mozart would develop to become a great operatic composer later on, because particularly the slow movements have this very beautiful singing quality into them. We all know a lot about Mozart, but not as much on Prokofiev. So I think I will concentrate more on Prokofiev. Like Mozart, Prokofiev also was a child genius. He composed his very first opera when he was only 9 years old. In a perfect world, Prokofiev should have been just as famous as Mozart. If we could somehow connect his name to his best known works like The Peter and the Wolf, Romeo and Juliet, The March from Love for Three Oranges, and also some of his film scores like Lieutenant Kiji, Alexander Nevsky, Ivan the Terrible. So, for one thing, his reputation was overshadowed by another great Soviet composer, Dmitri Shostakovich. Shostakovich outlived him by 20 years. It also didn't help that Prokofiev died on the very same day that Joseph Stalin died. The death of a major Soviet composer would have been a huge event. The radio would play the music of the composer all day long, and perhaps the whole week. Documentaries would be shown on the composer. So none of that happened because the death of Stalin became the most important event for the decade, probably. It is now, finally, we understand that Prokofiev and Shostakovich were equally important composers of the 20th century. Prokofiev was a hardworking composer. Like Mozart, ideas came to him quickly. He was a great chess player and played against world champions like Capablanca and beat them. As a composer, he worked intensely wherever he was. If he was traveling on a train, he composed. If he was ill in a hospital bed, he would write, even if there was no piano or no desk nearby. He wrote down his musical ideas because they came to him very often. So he had a notebook where he would write them. And if the notebook was not handy, he would write them on pieces of paper, cigarette packets, or the backs of envelopes, whatever he could find. So at this concert, we play my arrangement of his second string quartet, the Kabardinian. The background on this work is when the Germans invaded Soviet Russia during the World War in June of 1941, Prokofiev and several other composers were evacuated from Moscow to Nalchik by the Soviet government. Nalchik is the capital of the Kabardino-Balkaria Republic, which is north of Georgia in the northern Caucasus Mountains. When Prokofiev got there, the mayor and the chairman of the arts committee in Nalchik lectured Prokofiev and the other musicians and artists about the region's culture. And they gave them some original folk music material that were collected by previous musicians visiting the region, including Sergei Taneyev. Taneyev was Prokofiev's teacher. So Prokofiev took this material and he decided to write a string quartet because he thought that the clashing, the combining the folkloric material with the most classical of classic forms, the string quartet, would be a striking and original idea, an original composition like that. So he began working on his second string quartet on November the 2nd and finished the score in about 5 weeks. The first movement of the second string quartet is based on a local dance and song that you'll hear at the very beginning, played by first violin. It's to the accordion-like accompaniment to the song that it is played against. The second movement is based on a love song, on a Kabardinian love song. You will first hear it coming from the cello, and it has a middle section that utilizes a folk dance, Islame in 3/8 rhythm, with imitating the sonorities of kemanche. Kemanche is a variety of a spike fiddle that was popular in the region. And the movement ends with a brief return of the opening love song. The third movement, Allegro, is based on a very energetic, again, a Kabardinian, a regional mountain dance. Here again, Prokofiev skillfully tries to imitate the sounds of these folkloric instruments that he heard and liked in the region. So Prokofiev is in a good mood during his time in Kabardinian region and produces this beautiful work. So I hope very much that you will enjoy this entire concert. Thank you.